From Hollywood beginnings to her fearless activism and the scandals that followed, Jane Fonda's life is nothing short of legendary. What were the defining moments that shaped her path, and what made her so controversial and influential? Hollywood origins. She was born on December 21, 1937, in New York City. Her father, Henry Fonda, was a celebrated actor known for films like The Grapes of Wrath and 12 Angry Men. Her mother, Frances Ford Seymour, came from a wealthy family but struggled with mental health issues and tragically died by suicide in 1950. Growing up, Jane attended boarding schools, including Greenwich Academy and Emma Willard School. Despite her father's fame, their relationship was distant. "He was not the kind of father who played with you," she recalled in an interview with The Guardian. This lack of emotional connection with her father and the traumatic loss of her mother left deep emotional scars. Her interest in acting began in her teenage years. After graduating from Vassar College, she studied under renowned acting coach Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio in New York. Strasberg once said, "I knew Jane had it in her. She had the potential to be great." Her training at the Actors Studio was rigorous, and she absorbed the method acting techniques that would define her early performances. Her film debut came in 1960 with Tall Story, where she played a college cheerleader opposite Anthony Perkins. Although the film was not a major success, it marked the beginning of her journey in Hollywood. Her performance in Period of Adjustment, 1962, and Walk on the Wild Side, 1962, earned her recognition. In Period of Adjustment, directed by George Roy Hill, she played Isabel Haverstick, showcasing her ability to handle complex characters. Walk on the Wild Side, where she starred alongside Lawrence Harvey and Barbara Stanwyck, further established her as a rising star. It was her role in Cat Ballou, 1965, that truly launched her career. Directed by Elliot Silverstein, the film was a commercial success, grossing over $20 million at the box office. Her portrayal of the title character, a schoolteacher turned outlaw, demonstrated her comedic timing and versatility. The film's success earned her a Golden Globe nomination and firmly established her in the industry. In 1968, she starred in Barbarella, directed by her then-husband Roger Vadim. The sci-fi film became a cult classic, solidifying her status as a sex symbol. Despite mixed reviews, Barbarella grossed $5.5 million. Her portrayal of the titular character, a space adventurer, was iconic, influencing fashion and popular culture. During this period, Fonda's life was marked by significant personal changes. She married French director Roger Vadim in 1965, and their marriage was unconventional, reflecting the free-spirited ethos of the 1960s. They had a daughter, Vanessa Vadim, in 1968. However, their marriage ended in divorce in 1973. Despite the end of their marriage, her career continued to flourish, setting the stage for her rise to stardom in the 1970s, ascending the spotlight. By the late 1960s, Jane Fonda had established herself as a formidable talent in Hollywood. In 1969, she starred in They Shoot Horses, Don't They?, directed by Sidney Pollack. Her role as Gloria Beatty, a cynical woman participating in a dance marathon during the Great Depression, earned her critical acclaim. The performance garnered her first Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. The film itself was nominated for 9 Oscars, solidifying her status as a serious actress. In 1971, Jane starred in Klute, directed by Alan J. Pakula. Her portrayal of Bree Daniels, a call girl involved in a murder investigation, was a turning point in her career. Fonda immersed herself in the role, even spending time with real-life call girls to prepare. "I spent nights in New York with several prostitutes," she told the Los Angeles Times. This dedication paid off, as she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance. Throughout the early 1970s, she continued to choose diverse and challenging roles. In A Doll's House, 1973, she portrayed Nora Helmer in the film adaptation of Henrik Ibsen's play, showcasing her range and depth as an actress. The film, directed by Joseph Losey, was noted for its faithful adaptation and Fonda's powerful performance. In Steelyard Blues, 1973, directed by Alan Meyerson, she starred alongside Donald Sutherland, highlighting her ability to balance dramatic and comedic elements. The film's offbeat humor and her chemistry with Sutherland were well received. In 1976, Jane starred in The Bluebird, a film co-produced by the United States and the Soviet Union. The project was a significant cultural exchange during the Cold War, and she played the role of light, symbolizing hope and guidance. Fonda married activist Tom Hayden in 1973. Together they had a son, Troy Garrity, born in 1973. The couple was deeply involved in political activism, which began to intertwine with her career choices. Their activism focused on anti-war efforts, civil rights, and social justice. Hayden, a prominent figure in the anti-war movement, influenced her political views and actions. Activism and controversy. The 1970s were not just a time of professional success for Jane Fonda, they also marked her emergence as a vocal and controversial political activist. Her activism began in earnest with her outspoken opposition to the Vietnam War. In 1972, Jane traveled to North Vietnam, a trip that would forever alter her public image. During her visit, she made several radio broadcasts urging U.S. soldiers to cease their bombing of North Vietnamese cities. Most controversially, she was photographed sitting on a North Vietnamese anti-aircraft gun, which was used to shoot down American planes. This image earned her the nickname Hanoi Jane and generated significant backlash. In an interview years later, Fonda expressed regret over the photo, saying, "It was a betrayal. The image was a betrayal. I will go to my grave regretting that." Her anti-war activism extended beyond this trip. She toured the United States, speaking at rallies and participating in protests. She co-founded the Indochina Peace Campaign with her then-husband Tom Hayden, which aimed to end U.S. involvement in Vietnam. Her activism led to her being monitored by the FBI, and she was even arrested in 1970 at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport on suspicion of drug smuggling. The charges were later dropped, and the incident only bolstered her resolve and public image as a determined activist. Fonda's political engagements were not limited to the Vietnam War. She also became involved in the civil rights movement and women's rights issues. In 1972, she supported Native American activist groups, including the occupation of Alcatraz Island and the Wounded Knee incident. Her involvement in these causes often put her at odds with mainstream political figures and segments of the American public. Despite the controversies, Fonda's commitment to activism did not waver. She continued to speak out against various social injustices and became an advocate for feminist causes. In 1972, she starred in the film Tout va bien, a French political drama that criticized capitalism and social inequality. Directed by Jean-Luc Godard and Jean-Pierre Gorin, the film was an example of her willingness to take on politically charged roles that reflected her personal beliefs, unmasking her personal struggles. Jane Fonda faced numerous personal struggles behind the scenes. Her life was marked by battles with mental health, tumultuous relationships, and the pressures of maintaining her career and public persona. Fonda's early life was shadowed by the tragic death of her mother, Frances Ford Seymour, who committed suicide when she was only 12 years old. This loss had a profound impact on her, creating deep emotional scars. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, she admitted, "I internalized a lot of guilt and shame. I thought it was my fault." Her relationship with her father, Henry Fonda, was complex and distant. Despite being an iconic actor, Henry was emotionally unavailable and critical. Jane often sought his approval, yet felt she never measured up. He was not capable of expressing love, she shared in a candid interview with the Los Angeles Times. This strained relationship influenced her self-esteem and emotional well-being. Her struggles with eating disorders began in her teenage years and continued into adulthood. She battled bulimia and anorexia, conditions that were exacerbated by the pressures of Hollywood and her desire to maintain a certain image. In her memoir, My Life So Far, she wrote, "I was terrified of getting fat, of losing control. It was a way to cope with the pain." After her first marriage to Roger, Vadim ended in divorce in 1973, she married activist Tom Hayden. While they shared a deep commitment to political activism, their relationship was not without challenges. Hayden's intense focus on activism sometimes overshadowed their personal relationship, leading to strain. Despite these issues, they had a son, Troy Garrity, born in 1973. Jane described her marriage to Hayden as the most formative experience of my life, but they eventually divorced in 1990. In 1991, she married media mogul Ted Turner. Their marriage brought a different set of challenges. Turner, known for his flamboyant personality and media empire, had a lifestyle and worldview that often clashed with Jane's. Despite the initial passion and excitement, their differences became too great, and they divorced in 2001. Reflecting on the marriage, she said, "I was drawn to his energy and vision, but we were fundamentally incompatible." Deep political involvement. The 1980s and 1990s saw Jane Fonda deeply entrenched in political and social activism, continuing her legacy of advocacy from the previous decades. Her political involvement expanded beyond anti-war efforts to encompass environmental issues, women's rights, and social justice. In 1982, Fonda co-founded the Campaign for Economic Democracy, CED, with then-husband Tom Hayden. The organization aimed to promote progressive causes, focusing on environmental sustainability, economic justice, and human rights. Through CED, they advocated for renewable energy, fair wages, and improved public education. "We wanted to change the world, to make it better for everyone," she stated in an interview with The Washington Post. Fonda's commitment to women's rights also became a prominent part of her activism. She supported the Equal Rights Amendment, ERA, which sought to guarantee equal legal rights for all American citizens regardless of sex. In numerous public appearances and speeches, she championed the cause, urging lawmakers and the public to support the amendment. "Gender equality is not just a women's issue, it's a human rights issue," she often said. Throughout the 1990s, Fonda continued to use her platform to speak out on various social issues. She participated in protests, gave speeches, and wrote op-eds on topics ranging from climate change to racial justice. Her willingness to engage in civil disobedience, including getting arrested during protests, underscored her commitment to the causes she believed in. "If we don't stand up for what we believe in, who will?" she remarked during a rally. Into her fitness revolution. In the 1980s, Jane Fonda became a fitness icon, revolutionizing the industry with her workout videos. Her entry into the fitness world was unexpected but immensely successful, marking a new chapter in her career. In 1982, she released her first workout video, Jane Fonda's Workout. Inspired by her own experience with exercise as a means to overcome an eating disorder, the video aimed to make fitness accessible to everyone. It was an instant hit, selling over 1 million copies in its first year. "I wanted to help people feel better about themselves, to be healthier," she said in an interview with the New York Times. The success of her first video led to a series of follow-ups, each catering to different fitness levels and needs. Her second video, Jane Fonda's Workout Challenge, released in 1983, also topped the charts. By the mid-1980s, she had released over a dozen workout videos, cementing her status as a fitness guru. The workout videos were not only popular in the United States, but also internationally, reaching millions of viewers worldwide. Her fitness empire expanded beyond videos. She authored several best-selling books on fitness and health, including Jane Fonda's Workout Book and Jane Fonda's New Workout and Weight Loss Program. These publications provided detailed exercise routines and health advice, reinforcing her influence in the fitness industry. Her approach to fitness was innovative. She combined traditional aerobics with strength training, emphasizing the importance of overall well-being. Fitness should be fun and accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or ability, she often said. Her fitness revolution was not just about physical health. It was also a means of personal empowerment. Through her videos and books, she encouraged people to take control of their lives and health. Fitness is not just about looking good. It's about feeling good and being the best version of yourself, she said. Career resurgence. The 2000s marked a significant resurgence in Jane Fonda's acting career, showcasing her versatility and enduring appeal in Hollywood. After a 15-year hiatus from film, she returned with a performance that reminded audiences of her exceptional talent. In 2005, Jane Fonda starred in Monster-in-Law, a comedy directed by Robert Luketic. She played Viola Fields, a high-strung and overbearing mother-in-law to Jennifer Lopez's character, Charlie. The film was a commercial success, grossing over $154 million worldwide. Critics praised her comedic timing and screen presence. The Hollywood Reporter noted, "Fonda's return to the big screen is nothing short of triumphant." Following Monster-in-Law, she appeared in the 2007 drama Georgia Rule, directed by Gary Marshall. Starring alongside Lindsay Lohan and Felicity Huffman, Jane played the matriarch of a troubled family. Her Her performance was lauded for its depth and nuance. Her career resurgence was not limited to acting. In 2011, Jane Fonda published her second memoir, Prime Time, which became a New York Times bestseller. The book offered insights into aging, health, and happiness, drawing from her personal experiences and extensive research. Prime Time resonated with readers, particularly older adults seeking inspiration and guidance. Her work during this period also reflected her ongoing commitment to social causes. She continued to speak out on issues like climate change, women's rights, and political activism. In 2014, she received the American Film Institute's Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizing her contributions to the film industry and her enduring legacy as an actress and activist. In 2015, Fonda co-starred in the Netflix series Grace and Frankie alongside Lily Tomlin. The show, created by Marta Kaufman and Howard J. Morris, explores the lives of two women who form an unlikely friendship after their husbands leave them for each other. The series received critical acclaim and developed a loyal fan base. Jane's portrayal of Grace Hansen, a retired cosmetics mogul, showcased her comedic skills and on-screen chemistry with Tomlin. Grace and Frankie ran for 7 seasons, concluding in 2022, and earned multiple Primetime Emmy nominations. Modern-day activism. In her 80s, Jane Fonda remains a tireless advocate for social and environmental justice. Her modern-day activism is marked by a continued commitment to addressing critical issues and inspiring others to take action. One of her most notable recent efforts is her climate change activism. Inspired by Swedish activist Greta Thunberg, Fonda decided to relocate to the capital to bring attention to the climate crisis. "We have to behave like our house is on fire because it is," she said during the inaugural protest. Her dedication to the cause is evident in her willingness to face arrest. Over several months, she was arrested multiple times during these protests. "It's not just about me, it's about all of us coming together to demand change," she emphasized. In 2020, she published What Can I Do? My Path from Climate Despair to Action, a book detailing her journey into climate activism and offering readers practical advice on how to get involved. The book combines personal anecdotes with scientific information and action steps, making the complex issue of climate change more accessible to the general public. It became a bestseller and further solidified her role as a leading environmental advocate. In addition to her environmental and social justice work, Fonda continues to champion women's rights. She has supported numerous initiatives aimed at addressing gender inequality and violence against women. In 2021, she was honored with the Golden Globe Cecil B. DeMille Award for her outstanding contributions to the world of entertainment and her activism. In her acceptance speech, she highlighted the importance of diverse voices and stories in the fight for equality. "We need to make sure that everyone's story gets told, that everyone is seen and heard," she urged. Fire Drill Friday's numerous arrests. In recent years, Jane Fonda has become known for her bold acts of civil disobedience, particularly her efforts to raise awareness about climate change. Her commitment to this cause has led to multiple arrests, showcasing her willingness to put herself on the line for what she believes in. Jane's campaign, Fire Drill Fridays, began in October 2019. Inspired by young climate activists and the urgency of the climate crisis, she decided to hold weekly protests in Washington, D.C. The goal was to pressure lawmakers to take more aggressive action against climate change. "We need a Green New Deal," she proclaimed, referring to comprehensive legislation aimed at addressing climate issues and economic inequality. Each Friday, Fonda and a group of activists would gather at the Capitol to call for immediate action on climate change. These protests often included speeches, performances, and acts of civil disobedience. She deliberately chose to be arrested as a way to draw media attention and highlight the seriousness of the issue. "I'm inspired by the young climate strikers, and I wanted to show up and stand with them," she explained. Her first arrest occurred on October 11, 2019. She was charged with unlawfully demonstrating, a misdemeanor offense. Undeterred, Fonda returned the following week, and the week after that, each time risking arrest. By the end of 2019, she had been arrested 5 times. Each arrest brought greater visibility to the climate crisis and inspired more people to join the movement. "We have to act like our house is on fire because it is," she said during one of the protests. The Fire Drill Fridays movement gained significant traction, with celebrities and activists joining Fonda in her weekly protests. Stars like Ted Danson, Rosanna Arquette, and Joaquin Phoenix were among those arrested alongside her. This high-profile involvement helped to amplify the message and garner widespread media coverage. This is about creating a groundswell of pressure on our political leaders, Fonda noted. Despite the legal consequences, she remained resolute. She spent a night in jail following one of her arrests, an experience she described as eye-opening. It was cold, uncomfortable, and a reminder of the sacrifices that are sometimes necessary to effect change, she reflected. Her willingness to face arrest demonstrates her deep conviction and the lengths she is willing to go to advocate for her beliefs. Civil disobedience is a powerful tool for change, she stated. It's a way to show our leaders that we are serious about this issue.